What's going on, guys? Today I want to talk to you about getting a used bike from either Craigslist or a dealership and the pros and cons of both of those. Alright, so the way I'm going to try and break this video up, I'm going to start off with the pros and cons of Craigslist first, and then I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of a dealership. And then I'll probably go back and forth between them as things come to my head. With Craigslist, you know, a perk that you're going to get is you're most likely going to get a better deal. And the reason that it is because it's a lot easier to negotiate with someone, a private seller, than it is with a dealership where you have salesmen that are trained to sell you bikes, you know what I mean? They're trained to hold their ground. The time you're going to get to ride the bike, at least if you have the cash on hand with you, you're going to get a test ride out of it. I mean, some dealerships do let you ride the bike, but a lot of used bike dealerships, they're not going to let you ride it because it's an insurance thing for them, so that's something you got to be aware of. So another pro with Craigslist is that you're kind of in control. You're the one that's looking at the bike, you're the one that's trying to get this guy to sell you the bike. Whereas when you go to a dealership, you're going to have the salesmen are all going to do anything they can to get you to buy the bike. And that's not to say that, you know, the seller wouldn't do that either, but I feel like you are not in the same environment on Craigslist deals as you are at a dealership, so you have a different mentality, you know what I mean? So those are just some pros of Craigslist deals. Obviously the biggest one is you can get a better deal, which is why most people do that. You can save money by going through Craigslist. So for cons for Craigslist, there's a lot. The first thing, you always have the chance of getting shot. I mean, that could happen at a dealership too, but it's more likely to happen in a Craigslist deal. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I mean, it could happen, but that's not. You getting robbed like that, there's always a good chance you could get robbed at a Craigslist deal. Either just for your money, or you can get screwed out of a deal. Which brings me to another point. When you buy a used bike from someone off of Craigslist, you're not getting any warranty. You gotta look over everything yourself. You know, there's a lot of scams out there too. And if you don't look over the bike right, you know, there could be something huge wrong with it that you don't notice, which is why it's important to always bring someone with you that knows bikes, or make sure you look up videos on what to look for when you're buying a used bike. There's a lot of good ones out there. So yeah, you can get a bust bike if you think it's perfect. That's something you gotta watch out too. There's also a lot of deals that seem to be too good to be true, and they usually are. Also, another con with Craigslist is if you're gonna end up having to go somewhere that you don't know where the hell it is, you don't know who you're dealing with, what the people are like, you know, it could be sketchy, it could be perfectly fine. I bought this bike off of Craigslist and I got it from a cop, so like I had a good feeling about it, you know what I mean? I didn't have any issues when I bought it. I met up with him at his house. It was like a rich neighborhood, so I didn't think I'd have any issues, and I looked over the bike, everything seemed pretty good, and I took it for a test ride. He took out his wife's bike and we rode for a little bit. I liked the bike and I got it. Gave him the cash, signed over the title, it was no big deal. But that's not always the case. You always got to be careful. So another con would be you're not going to get a warranty with the bike that you get off of Craigslist. So if anything goes wrong with it, you're on your own. Alright, so one more con with buying off of Craigslist is usually getting the bike home. But so that's something you got to figure out. Are you going to ride it home illegally, or are you going to have a truck? I've loaded up my dirt bike a million times, but loading up a dirt bike and a street bike are two different things entirely. Alright, anyway, moving on to dealerships. Some pros with dealerships are normally you're going to get a warranty on most bikes to a certain extent, and you can always buy a warranty too that'll cover pretty much the whole bike. God forbid anything goes, anything major. Also, buying from a dealership is usually a lot less sketchy than it is on Craigslist. You know where you're going, you know where the place is. You kind of get a really good look at the bike before you even go into the place. because you see all the pictures and stuff, they put really good pictures up, where on Craigslist they don't usually do that. Alright, also going to a dealership, you got a lot more variety of bikes. You know, you may go in, you may have looked at a bike online or something, or you're just going to look in general, and you're like, wow, you know what? I thought I liked this bike, but this one looks cooler, and you sit on it, it feels better, and if you're allowed to ride it, it may even feel better to you, you know what I mean? You may go in thinking you want one bike, and you come out with another, so that's always cool too. And it's good to go to a dealership because you see the different variety of bikes, you see what you like, you figure out what you don't like. Even if you can't ride them, you can get an idea of what it's going to be like. Alright, let's check my phone. And I have no friends. Great. Alright, so another pro that you get with dealerships is that the people in there, the salesmen, well, some salesmen, not all salesmen. There's going to be people in there that know what they're talking about, at least to a certain extent. And they can help you decide what you want and what you're looking for. And just tell you certain things about certain bikes that you might not have known prior to going in and looking at them. So you get a lot more information from a dealership as well. Alright, and then just a couple cons about dealerships. You know, a lot of them, as I said earlier, a lot of the salesmen, they just want to sell you a bike. They're going to tell you whatever they can to sell you the bike. They're going to pump it up, they're going to make it seem like a lot better than it is, and they're going to make you pay whatever you want to pay to get the bike, because they're going to know if they see that you want it and you really, really want it, man, they are not going to let you go, and they are going to take every penny they can get from you. Also, with the dealership, you have so many extra BS taxes and fees that they tack on just to get more profit for them. And the bike is usually priced higher than what it's worth. And you end up paying more money in the long run, even in general, just with everything. Also, if you're trying to sell your bike too, selling it in general is a lot better than trading it in at a dealership. My bike, I bought my first bike, the Ninja, I bought that from a dealership, and when I went back to him like a couple months later, I only put like 3,000 miles on it, because I wanted something else. I wanted a Super Sport. You know, I figured since I had bought one from them, they would have given me a good deal. I saw an 01 GSXR 750 that was pretty clean that I liked for about the same price I bought the Ninja for, and that's what I was going to get. And I was talking to a representative, and he's like, yeah, you know, we should be able to pretty much do a straight trade here. And I'm like, good, like, that's what I think is fair, that's what I want to do. And then we went into the back room, and whoever the manager was or whatever was like, well, I'll tell you what, I could do this. And it was like half of what I paid for the bike. I was like, dude, get the fuck out of here. And even the other guy, the guy I was talking to, the representative, he's like, yeah, you're better off just selling it on Craigslist. So I actually ended up selling it to my friend, so I didn't have to sell it through Craigslist, but that's what I was gonna do. One last con with the dealership is that you feel a lot more pressure to get the bike. You went all the way there, you got all these people, if you bring friends or anything too, and there's a bunch of bikes, and you're just a lot more tempted to buy one of them, especially if you're in a dealership where there's just a ton of bikes. But anyway, so that's going to do it for this one, guys. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of some pros and cons of both Craigslist and dealerships for buying used bikes. So again, that's it for this video. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, put your comments in the comments, and have a great day.